Hi, everybody. This is the first episode of We Create Shit. My name is Pastel Papi. Thank you guys for joining us. I would love to introduce my dear friends. To start off with my friend, DEAR.tiny.
How y'all doing?
I was not expecting that. Negroes.
Nah, what up, though?
I will go ahead and introducing Nina.
Hey y'all, what's up?
So today is a little bit of a simple episode. We're just gonna get the ball rolling for the whole show. We released other good friends of mine released a song called "Get You Right." So in honor of that song, we're just gonna start the day off with some simple relationship questions because we be out here loving, in these relationships, romantic things. Something somebody asked me was like 2 days ago. I don't know. Y'all gonna realize my memory is absolutely terrible. So it'd have been 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 3 weeks ago, or sometime like 10 years ago. It's all the same to me. Was like, how have my romantic relationships changed due to COVID? Which, if anybody wants to, you feel me, answer that before I get to it, because we all know my romantic relationships is summing up an event.
I honestly think that they haven't changed. For me personally, I honestly think they haven't changed because this whole pandemic, I just been so laser focused that shit. Maybe that's a problem, low key. But like honestly, I haven't like had any major change or any major like. I feel like every problem that there was or every obstacle that there was, like it was like going to happen regardless of if it was a pandemic or anything, So me, honestly, I could say it. Not that I could think of. I remember like nothing major, like nothing major. What about you?
Well, one, I think because I'm a very like much in person type of person. Like, I'd rather like chill with somebody than just like text them 24/7. So like, it did force me to like learn how to like text better, and also like it did kind of make me like just focus on myself more. I mean, because I had already been doing that before, but then I really like went into just like bettering myself during that time. Like I wasn't even trying to talk to nobody because it was at that point like for what we not gonna be able to see each other. We just gonna be on the phone 24/7. So I just let it
High
go.
school love.
Yeah.
Shoot, maybe that was the problem then. I wouldn't like. I know it was like pandemic quarantine, but I wasn't like staying away type shit. So maybe that's why nothing changed for me.
Yeah, I was hoeing.
Elaborate, my brother. Elaborate.
Like beginning of quarantine, cause like you feel me, a lot of the former things and things who wanted to be things, you feel me, they didn't have time to go find another thing. So they like,
Right.
my boy, like, you feel me, like you the one I trust, pull up. Yeah, so I had to go through that little phasey phase, and then by the end of that, by the time it hit the fall of last year, I kind of realized like, okay, one, I gave up the streets. And two, yeah, it was just too much energy to maintain things I didn't necessarily want to maintain.
Right.
That were just more so kind of convenient and things that I was just used to. You feel me? Like I've been a young wild nigga for.
So is it safe to say you was dealing with multiple females?
Women, you feel me? Females is now a derogatory term. So we.
Oh, you can't say that no more?
I'm not sure. My base is like mostly women, so
Women. All right, women.
I be kind of scared about what I'm gonna
Women.
get canceled for.
But just out of respect, yeah.
Yeah, women.
Yeah.
So is it rewind? So is it safe to say that you were dealing with multiple women?
Whatever it's saying the music. So you could,
I like your style.
you feel me? You feel me? We done been under investigation.
So do you think that like their energy was kind of weighing you down? Like,
it depends. Some, like, the thing is, I feel like relationships and situations get a bad rap these days, right? People would pretend like every single situation or relationship in the world is so damn toxic. It's like maybe I just listen to too much like Brent Faiyaz and Drake and Giveon, where the relationships really suck. So some like were weighing me down, but then some also were really uplifting and teaching me just a lot about how to like nurture myself and self-care. That's something that the pandemic, taught me. And, being with certain girls who really upkept themselves and upkept their spirit and like were really knowledgeable about themselves and getting time to spend extra time with them away. Because, I'm a workaholic. So having my whole career kind of put on pause for a little bit and getting time to really spend and learn with some people who's probably a little bit smarter than I am.
Yeah.
Taught me a little bit of things about myself. And yeah, so some like one of them things is a heavyweight. You feel me? You could go listen to Tweaking.
Baby girl, you tweak. So she was tweaking.
Bro,
So you had one during the pandemic was just tweaking.
Terry will tell you. I got off of. We were in Portland.
Okay.
I got off from arguing and recorded that song.
Dang.
Within like the nigga
Okay,
died.
so
It was
all
real
right,
life.
so how
Hotel rooms.
how close was Portland, the song, and you no longer having any type of relationship with her? How was that time spent?
Define no longer have relationships.
Oh damn! Come on, Pastel.
Like you knew you was done with
Like
it.
yeah, you knew you was done, or what? Or were you done? Is the question.
I feel like we continued for like 2 more months, and
Okay.
then after that, it kind of just
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Cause like Portland was October, so by like the end of the year, it was kind of like, all right, we wrapped up here.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Y'all was going through the motions.
Yeah,
Y'all was going through the motions.
Mm-hmm. And so, so this year being in captivity, I'm kind of tired of saying quarantine. I prefer captivity.
Right.
Because niggas locked behind the house doors. Damn, that made me sound like a slave. Is that like a cancelable offense saying slave? Like, do they say house servant now?
Nah.
Okay, I'm joking.
I mean, you a black man.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can't really, like,
That whole council culture don't count for all that,
I'll be playing. But yeah, so I don't know. My relationships, now I don't have relationships. I'm by my damn self for the first time since like I was like, it's the first time I can genuinely say I'm not talking to nobody since I was like 14. Like I've been in these streets since I was 14, which is crazy. I blame my dad.
all right, can I ask a question then?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so how you feel like what has being by yourself taught you in this time then?
It taught me that I didn't know I didn't love myself.
Ooh.
Because you use people to hide the things you don't want to admit to yourself.
Yeah.
And then you be like, oh shit.
That's deep. So it gave you time to like stepping away from all your situations. It gave you time to kind of like unpack who you were and sit with yourself and learn to love yourself again.
Yeah.
Like you did when you was a kid.
Yeah.
And kind of unpack those traumas that stem from when you was a kid.
Because we all just like a lot of like how you said, everything stems from being a kid. So like the things you started to gloss over and started to heal, like you started to like, I always say you can't put a Band-Aid over a bullet wound, right? And so a lot of times when the childhood traumas that you have, you spend your adult life trying to put Band-Aids over bullet wounds. And like, and so, I realized that like a lot of my love life was me just like putting Band-Aids over bullet wounds with like people ready to shoot my ass. So it's like,
Dang, that's deep.
Man.
Do men like care as much about like healing as women do? Because I know women, like when we get out of a relationship, we're like, nah, now we gotta go do our self-work, we gotta go heal. And I feel like men just be like, all right, well, let me see who next. Like, do y'all be taking that time to like heal too?
I feel like it depends on the man. It depends on the man and the woman these days, because women be just as much savage as some dudes be.
That's true.
But like, I can say personally for me and a lot of my close friends, like we take pride in like self-care and personal development and stuff like that, and bettering ourselves and mental health and everything like that. It's important.
True. Yeah. But a lot of niggas is dirty and they don't clean up their mental. So like it's like, cause that's also the reason why me, him, and so many of our close friends are close friends, is because we care about things that a lot of dudes like just don't care about. Like, you know, and so I would say that for me, the general consensus is like, nah. Like, I feel like men men aren't taught to deal with their emotions in the same way. So it's like, you know, you even if you're not hop from girl to girl, like you hop from like a attention thing to attention thing. So it's like, okay, you break up with it. Okay, I'm gonna start hitting the gym. Like I'm gonna go hard on my job or something like that. And you're still not addressing your emotions. So like, I think the healing is a little bit different. I think it's more so just transferring energy to something else. But a lot of me and the homies, like one, we also have like a crazy support group in our friends. So it's like, you feel me? If you break up with your girl you get broken up with or something like that, we have like a circle which we know one that was paying attention the whole time. So we don't gotta worry like
Yeah,
do
the whole
niggas
time.
care. It's like, no,
so-
these niggas do care.
Yeah, so we kind of
Yeah.
tell each other about each other.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that
That's
kind of
important.
that kind of helps in the development process as well, because like I might not see a trait that I have,
Yeah.
but he might see it.
Yeah. Don
You
tell
need
me I'm
one
stupid.
friend that's gonna like check you at
Oh, yeah.
least, like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be like, nah, you know, you was a little bit like wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah, real talk. That's
Yeah.
that's important.
For sure.
That's important.
Yeah.
Tell me when I'm tripping,
Oh,
please
man.
tell me when I'm tripping.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna tell you if you
you
tripping.
tripping. Them intervention talks.
Yeah. If we in public, I'm probably not gonna tell you till
nah,
we in the
you
car.
gonna- yeah,
but
Hey, yo, my
You
boy.
feel me?
Like, hey, yeah, you was in love, you feels.
nah, but real talk though.
Yeah, but we have such a strong friend group. And we've been friends for like 6 years. Like,
Man.
so our friend group's
And
been
some of us individually go back longer than that.
go back to longer than that. Like you and
But we
Dom,
all came together about what,
Yeah.
6-7 years ago?
6-7 years ago.
We all like came together, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Even though
And
some of us
how
knew
long
each
you
other
and Dom been cool?
more.
Like,
Don, that's like my family. Like he
Yeah.
could come to my mama's house and go in the refrigerator. Like
yeah.
I know Don since I was 14 years old.
Yep. Me and Terry since 16. So like, all right. So that's also a thing I feel like a lot of dudes don't have. They don't have actual friends.
Right.
That's
Like,
true.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
outside of music, outside
Yeah,
of film,
yeah,
outside of
friends.
all this, like it's crazy because I had a meeting because I'm building like a team. You know what I'm saying, to help me with my music and help me with promotion,
rapper?
marketing, all that. Yeah, I do a little something here and there. Nah, you know what? I can't even do that to myself. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is energy.
Yeah, there you
Nigga,
go.
I'm that nigga when it comes to this shit.
When I'm
nigga.
feeling like that nigga, I'm that nigga.
Nah, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, and I was telling them in the meeting, and I said, look, y'all, like I'ma always have Don, Devon, Tommy. They always gonna be willing to like help me with anything, and vice versa. Me help them with any of their projects. But at the end of the day, they running their own show, and more than anything, they my friends. You feel me? So they always gonna be there no matter what. They my friends first. You feel me? So
Niggas have been through wars, so many disagreements, so many.
bro,
like,
we done been through some
we done
shit.
been through, bro. Coming together during freaking 100 days and 100 nights, like that was the start of our friendship.
Bro.
Like that was crazy. You know?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
We done been
brothers.
through, we done been
Yeah,
through some
brothers.
shit, man. We done helped each other through like deaths and
deaths. Oh man.
breakups
Man.
and fucking
Yeah,
what else?
Financial problems,
Financial
career,
problems.
like, so it's like, you feel me? Our support system is a little different than most niggas.
Yeah.
So most niggas really have to shoulder the burden of their own emotions by themselves, and so they be a little fucked. Should I be cussing it? Well, my podcast is named We Create Shit, so I think.
Should we walking through like a bit of the hard times? Like,
Oh man, hard times don't last. Word to Tommy Sketch.
all right, I'm gonna start at.
Oh Lord.
All right. When we first came together, right? We first all came together, right? I had a cool little job. I was working at Home Depot or whatever. Cool little job, right? So and then I'm like, whoa, these niggas is really trying to work. These niggas is really trying to work. I like a lot of my everyday homies before them was like all street dudes. You feel me? All street niggas. And I was the only one. It was like, okay, I was always ducking off to go to the studio to, you know what I'm saying, and go create, you know what I'm saying, go do some, not saying they wasn't doing nothing productive, but like, you know what I'm saying, most of the time they wasn't. You feel me?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was always a little different. I always had a vision that I was pursuing or whatever. When we all came together, I was like, all right, yeah, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be. This is meant to be. So I'm with these niggas all the time to the point where I'm calling off of work and shit. And like, I'm not giving a fuck about work no more. And eventually I end up getting fired. It's crazy because I didn't even get fired for like calling off. I got fired for some other bullshit. But anyway, I got fired. So now the funds is low. And then I think, I don't want to speak for the other homies, but I think 2 of the other homies got fired from their job. It was 100 days and 100 nights. So this nigga Tommy quit his job.
Yeah, he wasn't taking that
because, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't trying to take it because it was really a war zone out here. You feel me? So he quit his job.
All type of.
I don't think none of us had jobs at that time.
Yeah, nope, nobody had a job.
So we sleeping in this nigga garage.
Splitting.
We walking at we walk into, I'm not gonna tell them what grocery store because they already know you live on the east side, so if we give away the grocery store, they're gonna kind of. But we walk into the local Mexican market right there, just getting potato wedges and burritos and like splitting stuff and Tumby's pizza.
Oh my god!
So we really just like scraping up.
Tell them y'all Tumby story. Where y'all was getting the pizza.
When we was working on the car and then
no, I'm talking about when y'all was getting pizza from Tumby's and y'all worked out and somebody was bussing.
Yeah, I was driving to El Camino and I had to do some like shit to the hood to like start it at first, and then like we popped the hood. We came out of Tumby's, we popped the hood, and then niggas just started dumping. Yeah. That shit was crazy. Yeah. But I say all this to say, man, we was going through some shit, but at that time, it didn't feel like we was going through no shit because we was waking up every day creating. We was waking up every day, and this was before he was doing music. We was waking up every day just doing songs and going places and filming. Like, we didn't feel like we was broke. You feel me?
And yeah, from that really, even just being around them really allowed me the freedom to express myself and want to do music in the first place, because I was the behind the camera dude. Like, I didn't care. I didn't even dress fly. Like, I didn't do haircuts. I was like, I'm pressing record. I'm filming everything. I don't care what it was. Like, that was my only thing. Then having such a great circle really inspired me. So, you know what? Let me upgrade my little life a little bit.
Man, first day I met this man.
Oh, Jesus.
This nigga didn't have no shirt on. This nigga didn't have no shoes on.
You feel
and
me?
then he was like, he was showing me this film he did.
Oh man.
This film he had worked on. And I was like, where this nigga clothes at?
Wait, like no shoes, no socks?
No, he was at his house. He was at his house, but we was outside his house.
Yeah.
And he didn't have no socks, no shoes on.
I was
and I was like,
was I in the paint pants?
Yeah, he had some paint all on his pants.
Yeah,
and
he was paint, and so I used to just be in my backyard painting. Yeah. And so, like, I'm a terrible painter, by the way. Like, if I was good, like, I wouldn't rap. I would just sell paintings all day. But, like, God didn't bless me. God blessed me with a lot of talents. But, like, Big G.O.D., if you listening, or Goddess, if you listening, you should have hit me with painting, too. I would have been cracking. But, so, yeah, I'll be back. I'll be in the back throwing paint around. And then niggas would just randomly pop up at my house. So I have to stop my paintings. And I just wouldn't think to, like, oh, like, I'm on the east side, and like people aren't used to like a nigga covered in paint with no shoes on, like walking up to them. And I didn't realize that was a lot of people's first impression of me. What you be doing? You be doing fly shit.
So I'm a stylist.
Stylist.
But I'm also a fashion designer. But then I also just started getting into music.
What?
So no, I'm not a model. I work more behind the camera than anything. People be trying to make me model, and like if it's a good situation, I'll hop in front of the camera. But I like to stay like behind the camera for the most part.
Dang, that's crazy. See, this is why I like getting to know new people, because you wouldn't expect these things. See, now, like, you feel me? When I need some bars, I know who can write one for me. You feel me? Yeah, because this whole time, my little brother Zion been writing, and he ain't been doing a good job.
Where if you just need, like, sometimes you need a feminine touch on a song, like, you know.
Okay, well, plug yourself. What type of music we talking about? Where can we find it? Is it coming soon? You need a male stripper in your music videos.
Tiny,
I'm trying to plug you.
We'll get you in the back. We can get you in
Yeah,
the
you
video,
feel me?
but
Yeah.
Give me a
Yeah,
little video.
yeah, a little video.
but
Game started off stripping.
Hey, shout out to Gang, man.
Did
Hey,
he?
I fuck with you, Gang.
Did he not start out stripping?
I don't know.
Everybody laughing.
He say he did me.
You feel me? That's what 50 said. You feel me? 50, I don't 50 asshole, but he don't be lying.
Fuck with you, Gang.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, okay. So back to your career and less about stripping.
well, the music I just started recently. Like it's brand new for me. Like I always been like making stuff, but I ain't never really just like went to the studio to like actually put something out. But I did my first 2 features, and they're out now. So it goes VJ featuring Nina if y'all want to look it up.
Come on.
But yeah, like I just started like really getting serious about it, and I really do like it. But fashion is really my main like lane. That's where everybody knows me from. That's what everybody knows I do. So, real talk, like probably Gaultier, like Jean Paul Gaultier. I like Rick Owens, even though everybody wearing him down now. Like Vivienne Westwood, even though everybody wearing her down. I like a lot of like underground people too that people don't really know yet. So like Dido and like I never know how to pronounce her name. It's a lot of like international designers that like people don't know yet that are just like coming up and they be making pretty tight stuff. So because I like the rare, I like archive pieces like Marc Jacobs and like Galliano from like 2005 type. You know?
Fire.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I really got so much inspiration from Dapper Dan because I kind of like when I first started designing, like I kind of was doing that. Like I was trying to be like on some like female Dapper Dan type. Cause I like taking other people's brands and like interpreting a piece into what I would make it to be or like what I would design for a certain brand. And so like I started doing that. So like for example, like the first hoodies I ever made for my brand is called Baby Mo, by the way.
It's called what?
Baby Mo.
Baby Mo?
Mm-hmm. And I made these hoodies. So like the one that everybody knows, and like I almost wore it today actually, but it's a Versace hoodie, but on the front of it has Naomi Campbell holding a gun. And it's from the Versace show, like I want to say spring summer 1998. And it's like in the show, she's like walking down the catwalk and like there's a guy tied up at the end of the catwalk and she come up and she shoot him. And like I captured that picture and like put it on a hoodie and put the Versace sign over it. And like it's
fly.
everybody loves it. Like
Just imagine that's
yeah.
fly. Like that's like the essence of like street design.
Yeah,
Like,
fire.
literally on some Dapper Dan type
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like everybody always talk about like these days a lot of people that be wearing designer and stuff, they be talking about like, oh, Gucci didn't make that or Louis didn't make that, y'all wearing knockoff shit and whatever. But I feel like it's a difference between knockoff and like getting your shit on some like from like a designer. Like Dapper Dan really like took Gucci and was like making his own shit. Like he was getting real Gucci fabric and stuff,
Right.
but he was just getting like Gucci garment bags and like making suits and making stuff like that's fly to me because like that's where hip hop came from is everybody wearing quote unquote fake Gucci. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, but
And the thing is, Gucci started like remaking his designs and putting it on the catwalk. Right. Well, it took a minute. It took a lawsuit and everything, cause they didn't want to give no black man no real money.
They was still in his
Yeah.
facts.
But at the same time, like it started making a lot of like fashion designers start tapping into like streetwear more, cause high fashion and streetwear wasn't like this like a collaborated thing how it is now. Like it was 2 completely separate worlds. So like I think Dapper Dan and a couple of other people like Misa and like a few other people helped like make it be like come together and be one thing.
But yeah, so I've been instructed to explain the song a little bit more because that was the reason why I did this thing in the first place. So Get You Right is currently my favorite song of mine. It's probably the most beautifully composed song I've ever done. And also the message behind it is like really amazing to me. You know, a lot of us come from kind of fucked up backgrounds with love and fucked up relationships with love. So I tried to write a love song for people trying to find love with not the prettiest of backgrounds. So the second verse to me kind of explains everything. It says, you too scared of realities, so let me be your fantasy. She need to love nothing like her parents. She need to find something so different than what we've been conditioned. So I'll get you right, you know? So it's the idea of like, I know where you come from. I know where you at. Boss, I see where we could go with it. So, yeah, so I just think there's a lack of beauty for people. Especially in music and film. Music, everything's so painful. Everybody got a heartbreak anniversary and all this other shit. But like, what about the people who trying to like mend their traumas and stuff like that? So I guess to kind of like touch on that.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Please.
It ties into what the song is about. Because you was talking about they both came from like kind of broken backgrounds. So how do y'all feel like your backgrounds have affected your love life?
Whoo, she put some spice on that. Yeah, my background of love is like actually insane. So my family's like chilling now, but like growing up, my family was like everybody was like catching fades. So it's like my first thought and view of love came with violence. It came with like anger. It came with so I didn't see my first like real happy home until probably I was an adult. So for me it kind of like it always made me think love was a useless thing, right? Because you see so many PC with it, how the dominoes fell in other people's life, and now seeing like, okay, like you love this nigga, so now you done gave up your career and gave up in this, and now this nigga tripping, and like, so I was always, that's kind of one of the things that made me a little bit more of a workaholic, because it was like, nigga, I'm not fucking up my life, like none of y'all hoes, and yeah, so that's really how it affected it. So now, as I get older, understanding that the foundation of my relationship with love isn't really a foundation I should have ever had. So kind of like rehabilitating. And that's why this song was so important for me, because it was one of the first really happy love songs ever written. And it's the start of me rehabilitating my foundation of understanding that love is a possibility. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I would say same, like as far as like in my family, there's not a lot of like examples of like marriage or like healthy relationships and stuff like that. So I didn't kind of know for a long time what a relationship was supposed to really look like. So when I finally got into one, I kind of was like, a lot of things were toxic, and like you would think it would be common sense to be like, okay, Nina, like that's probably not healthy. You need to get out of that. But I didn't know. And I'm just like, well, this is my first relationship. Like, I don't really know what comes with this. So I'm going to thug it out. And like, I think through that, I mean, I think I needed that to learn so I could do better now, you know, as an adult now.
I'm doing better.
But I do think that for a lot of people, especially like, cause I didn't grow up with like a father and stuff like that. A lot of people, if like they don't grow up with a certain like parent in their life, it kind of like makes them choose partners like wrong. Cause you don't have a good example of like what a man, what a woman like should really look like. So yeah, it did kind of affect like just like I started getting into toxic things just cause like that's all I saw in my family is like toxic relationships. So I thought that was normal. But now like being older and like dating a little bit more, like seeing healthy relationships in other people's families and like through my friends, like it made me realize like what I really want, what I really need. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and you want to hear something crazy, Tiny?
What's the deal?
Your family was the first 2-parent like married black household.
That's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm about to say. Like I feel like I'm a unicorn. You feel me? Like I only know one other person like that like grew up with both of their parents in the house, but that shit wasn't always sweet. It was hell in my household. You know what I'm saying? At times. I'm not gonna just make it seem like I had a fucked up, like my mom and daddy was socking each other out, but like it was times where, you feel me, my parents, it got to that place where they did break up. And when they broke up, I was like, good because y'all niggas always fucking fussing and hollering and throwing shit. Like, you feel me? So they straight now though. Like, it's crazy because they barely even argue now. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of where they got to. You feel me? Like, it was a long time coming, but I think that affected me in my relationships because like a lot of things, like the good things that I did see, and then a lot of the bad things, if something like that would happen if in like any of my relationships, I'd be like, nah, that's what I don't want. And I felt like I had to structure the relationship like this is how a relationship gotta be. Cause I don't want my kids to ever have to see this and never have to see that, never. Cause even though like people like had like a little misconception of me, like some people that didn't really know me like that, cause I had like two parents in the house, they thought I was just some like kid that like, nigga, we all live in the same neighborhood, nigga. Like, I'm going through the same hood shit you going through. I just got two parents in the household. Like, fuck, my daddy was a gangster too. Like, what I don't know. It was just weird, but yeah, it definitely affected my relationships. But I had to learn to like as far as me running and wanting to run a relationship because I was scared of like having like my kids see this and my kids see that and my kids go through this, my kids go through that. I had to heal from that, and I had to, you know what I'm saying?
Isn't it crazy how like traumas cause like overcompensation of things? Like it's like, all right, I went through this, so like never again.
Yeah.
So because like it's like an interesting thing in psychology where they say like you either accept or reject. Like like the things like you like, you know, you see red all the times as a kid, so you're like, nah, I hate red, or you're like, I love red. Like it's kind of the same thing with your traumas in like a super extreme way, to where like you see something, you be like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to be in a relationship. Like if they beat the shit out of each other, that's cool. But by the way, my parents weren't beating the shit out of each other. My parents weren't beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
mine. Yeah, wait, I gotta say that. My parents were the only people that weren't fighting. They were the only people that weren't fighting. So shout out mom and dad. They never physical. All the rest of y'all niggas was crazy. But so like you either normalize it because you've seen it so much. You either normalize it to the point where it's like, oh, like I know so many of my homegirls, you know, have been in abusive like situations and stuff like that because that was their first instance of love, you know. And then also on the flip side, I know homegirls who grew up in abusive situations, and so now they don't date at all because that's their first instance of love. And it's kind of like when you have that much trauma attached to anything you do, it's very hard to see the middle ground of like the truth of things.
I think that's where a lot of these the women in our generation, they was kids when we was kids. I felt like we not knowing that back then a lot of them was getting abused and like mentally and physically.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like this whole hype on like, oh, like get what you gotta get out of a nigga and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they don't know nothing good to come from a man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So
Yeah,
like it come to a point where you can't even blame them at a certain extent.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, because that's their exposure to it.
Yeah.
But I do think it takes like a certain amount of like self-responsibility to like know your traumas that you've been through and like decide like, okay, I don't want to keep these cycles going like in my family. Like I want to be the person to break these cycles or like break this like generational curse or whatever.
Real talk.
So like I think people like stay with what they know, but it takes like a certain level of like maturity to be like, you know what, like maybe I'm not gonna like make the same mistakes everybody else in my family made, and like I'ma heal and do better.
So last thing. So I'm glad you said that. Leads me to the last thing. How are you guys breaking these trauma cycles in your life right now? You could take a second if you need a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, like for me, I think like a generational curse in my family is like a lot of the women in my family, they don't ever get married, or like if they do, like they've all gotten divorced or like their partners died. So like a lot of the women in my family, like they die single, and like a lot of them get like bitter about it, or like they start like trying to like put it down on like the young women in the family, like don't trust these niggas, like don't do this and that. And so like me, and it's also been a thing of like some people in my family don't believe in black love, which I think is pretty crazy. So for me, like I always wanted that so I can like show that to my kids. Like one, black love does exist.
Right.
Like it's not dead. And two, I just took my time to heal so that I can like have a healthy relationship for my kids. Cause I do want to be like the first person in my family to like get married and stay married. So I've been trying to like do my healing. I've been learning about marriage, like talking to actual like married couples that have been together for like 16 years, 19 years, and like ask them like how is this working out for you? Like how y'all get here?
Right.
Just so I can like educate myself. So when it is time, I don't start running back to like what I know. Like I'm going off of like what I've learned and like what I've heard other people that made it work told me. So I just been educating myself and like doing my personal
That's
healing.
dope. I ain't
Yeah.
never heard nobody like take it to that level. That's tight. I think more people should do that. Actually.
She ain't playing about this black love. I
Yeah.
see in her eyes got the little
Man.
romantic twinkle that be in Love Joan movies and stuff like that.
Man,
What
real
about
talk.
you, Tiny?
What was the question? What was the question?
How are you?
How are we breaking? What were we doing to break these generational?
Yeah,
curses?
these love generational.
Oh,
curse.
I thought it was just generational.
Nah,
curses.
because everybody say generational curses and thanks money, and then keeps on with the same shitty habits. I'm gonna break a generational curses. I'm gonna get my mama a house, but you're gonna be a shitty dad. Like,
damn. All right,
with
love. I was really about to grab the mic. Shoot, I think just kind of like looking back on like what my parents did that like I feel like affected me and they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of stuff that your parents did that affected you, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like we was watching, like when we was kids, we was really watching, and it's like they didn't get that. You feel me? Like, and so like just looking at they pitfalls and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And just like learning from that type of stuff. And really that's it. Just like, you know, picking up from where they, you know, fucked up at. What about you?
See,
Pastel Papi?
Even me naming myself Pastel Papi, that sounds like some of my dad shit. Like, my dad used to be they used to call that nigga Green Eyes. You know how egregious that is? Like, green eye. Like, come on, nigga. But for me, the first thing was not having a kid at 17. That was a big thing.
Oh yeah.
That was
not having it. Yeah, my mom had me when she was a teenager.
Yeah, that was the first. So we already beat that generational curse. So we like 5-0 off of that. But I think the biggest thing for me was allowing change in my life. So I realized something with a lot of older generations that they became comfortable in their ways, even if their ways didn't serve them. You know, and it's like you see your parents, they be like, this is the way we do things. Like, don't ask no questions.
I hate that.
And
this is just the way it goes.
Yeah, like why do y'all argue so much? This just us.
That's the way it go for you.
Yeah. Like, and so for me with love is being aware of when my own habits don't serve me. It's like, because it's like if I want to be in a happy relationship, and I look back at the last couple little situations, and one of their situations, not relationships,
right?
That doesn't serve me.
Exactly.
And also what went wrong. Cause sometimes it's, I talk to a couple models and stuff. So sometimes they'll just leave America and go like So I say, all right, I can't do nothing about that. She went to France for like 6 months. Can't do that. But it's like, so some things don't end on a necessarily a bad note, but then things when they do end on a bad note, it's like, why? What part did I have to play in that to make sure this next thing, I'm just a little bit better, because I can't change your habits overnight, but you could just try to be just a little bit better. And so I'm always like very cognitive of like, it's kind of funny. Like sometimes like I'm terrible at like not saying names, but I remember sometime last year.
Code names.
I'd see if I give her a code name, it's gonna say worse. It'd be way worse than.
Okay, never mind. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just bleep out her name or something like that. But I remember last year I hit Kenzie, and I was like,
Go ahead.
I was like, hey yo, something. I was writing a script. I was like, hey, which ways was I toxic? I was just she's like happy she's happy in a relationship. Like that's my nigga, we cool.
Yeah.
Like and I just hit her. I was just genuinely, I'll be, because I don't like calling girls crazy. So like some situations just be crazy and then bring the crazy out of people. So her ass was crazy, but but we were crazy together, right? And so that toxicity worked for the relationship, the moment. And so I was just like, which ways was I toxic? Literally hit her out the blue, right? We hadn't talked in months, and I'm glad she still picks up my calls. It's crazy, and she really like broke it down, and it was a beautiful thing because it was like it's like two things.
Yeah.
was like-
What she said?
It was like
If you don't mind sharing.
I don't care. Like I already said her name and all that shit. But she was just saying like sometimes I can be dismissive and a little condescending.
Mm.
And I didn't realize because when you like being condescending, like you don't realize like
And a little passive
a
aggressive
little
too.
passive, yeah.
think so
Yeah.
many men are
Yeah.
dismissive.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem in y'all's
For sure.
whole like.
Because we're not emotional. So like when you're bringing emotion to us, we're like, though it's like
No,
why is she tripping like this?
I think
So Tiny, he's a very emotional, intelligent human being.
I could say for myself,
He's very
if
really-
a lot of times if I come off passive, it's because I'm trying not to trip over something. I'm in my mind, I'm woosah. Like you feel me?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, all right, like you feel me?
Yeah,
For me at least. A lot
Yeah.
of times if like,
he's also a very emotionally intelligent human being. Like
well, thank you.
I
my
think
brother.
I think
tried.
he's pretty smart with his emotions. But my dumb ass, I didn't process emotions until like a year and a half ago. And so I would just be like, I would like process emotions from a logical standpoint, which didn't work, which worked. So like when it didn't have shit to do with me, it's like, okay, baby, like Martha at your job, like like it works there. Like when it's an outside problem, when
Right.
someone like feels some type of way about you, you can't reason them out of like
Right.
feeling, even if you're right, it just makes it worse. And so I didn't realize that, like my way of problem solving works for a career, doesn't work for a girlfriend.
Back to what we was talking about generational curses in the love life or whatever.
Mhm.
I think back in the days, they wasn't really focused on how to love your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody doesn't receive love the same way. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Love languages.
Yeah,
Love language,
real talk.
yeah.
Love languages, like that stuff is real. Like
Mhm.
you can't like. Everybody has a different love language.
For
You know
sure,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure,
So,
yeah.
and you have to cater to that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's sad to me that I see some older couples that just be like, oh, that's just the way he is, or that's just the way she is, and they learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not cool. You got to learn how to love your partner.
Learn how to
You know what
love
I'm
your
saying?
partner.
Because at the end of the day, if you know that they like something and you're not doing it,
Yeah.
if they go seek that, I mean, like, yeah, they wrong, but at the end of the day, come on,
Yeah.
get on your
Oh.
job.
That's what people like.
Hold
they
1
have-
second. I think it's about to cut.
Oh,
Hold 1 second. But wait, how much time is left? All right, I think we a little over time, so I'm gonna give like a quick little outro. Well, actually, should I just wait? Nah. Okay, quick outro. All right, thank you guys for joining the first episode of the podcast. I'm gonna say this really fast because we're running out of time. We're gonna continue more episodes. This was an amazing experience, and thank you guys for sharing y'all stories, emotions, and a couple jokes with your boy. So we
yeah,
create
thank you
shit.
for having me.
Thanks for having me. We out. Can I use your restroom?